Might as well move on. It's going to be a little bit of a timely one, so we'll go ahead and dedicate some time aside from this. Go ahead and get the music queued up here. We got a lot going on with this one, so I'm excited to share this one. This is out of a request of a regular listener of the show.
All right.
Her name is Maggie, and I had heard of this, and I'm excited to share this on the show. Once again, it's a little bit different of a story, right? It's not like necessarily like this creepy ghost or this entity or a person at Walmart when you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! But if you put yourself in the shoes of this situation, I think you'll find it to be quite terrifying. Okay, this is Travis the chimpanzee. Travis was a male chimpanzee who was an animal actor, appeared in several television shows and commercials, including spots for Pepsi and the show Maury and the Man Show. I do need to mention, though, it has been disputed that this is the same Travis chimpanzee who's made these appearances. Nevertheless, move on with the story here. Travis was born to Susie and Coco, who were imported from Africa to the United States sometime in the 1970s. He was born near Festus, Missouri, 1995, at Mike and Connie Braun's compound, currently named Missouri's Chimpanzee Sanctuary. Sandra and Jerome Harold purchased Travis for $50,000 from a breeder after he was taken from his mother when he was only 3 days old. They named the chimpanzee after Sandra's favorite singer, Travis Tritt. The Heralds raised Travis at their home in north section of Stamford, Connecticut. Travis was the Heralds' constant companion and would often accompany them to work on their shopping excursions and everything all around town. They actually owned a towing company, and Travis would pose for photos in the shop and ride with the tow truck around town. His seatbelt buckled as he rode along the truck, and he'd wear a baseball shirt. Travis became well known in the town and had been known to greet police officers. They would encounter each other, typically like you would when you're towing a car. You'd work with the police. And Travis would have positive encounters with them. Having grown up among people, Travis had been socialized to humans since birth. A neighbor said he used to play around and wrestle with Travis. The neighbor added that the animal always knew when to stop and paid close attention to his owner. He actually commented, "He listened better than any of my nephews." Travis could open doors using keys, dress himself, water plants, feed hay to his owner's horses, eat at the table with the rest of the family, drink wine from a glass. He was also so fond of ice cream, he learned the schedules of the passing ice cream trucks as he'd run out there, pay with money, and get ice cream. It's been said that he could even log into the computer at home and look at pictures. He used the television remote. He could brush his teeth, and he loved watching baseball on television. Sandra's only child died in a car accident in 2000, and Jerome died from cancer, her husband, Jerome, in 2004. As a result, Sandra Harold regarded Travis amongst a son. She pampered him just like he was a son. Sandra slept with him, bathed with him, and after this incident, she looked back at it and said, "I'm like Hollow now. He slept with me every night. Until you've spent so much time eating with a chimp, bathing with a chimp, living with a chimp, you don't know a chimp." So let's segue a little bit here. In 2003, there was an incident with this chimp. This is in October 2003. He escaped their car, and he held up traffic at a busy intersection. He was on the loose for several hours. The incident began after a pedestrian threw an empty soda bottle at the car, and it went through a partially open window, and it struck Travis the chimpanzee while they were stopped at his traffic light. Startled, Travis the chimpanzee unbuckled his seatbelt, opened the car door, and chased the man down, but narrowly missed him. Police arrived to the scene. They lured the chimpanzee into the car several times, only to have Travis let himself out on another door and occasionally chase the officers around the car. This incident in 2003 actually led to the Connecticut General Assembly to enact a law prohibiting people from keeping primates weighing more than 50 pounds as pets and requiring owners of exotic pets to apply for permits. That new law took an effect in 2009. We'll get to that later. No one in the state had applied to adopt a chimpanzee since this. This is a few years ago, so I can't hold that true to that exactly. But the Connecticut Department of Environmental Protection did not enforce the law on the Heralds because they owned their 200-pound chimpanzee Travis for so long. They did not believe Travis posed a public safety risk. So what we're going to do now is we've gone to the beginning of this story about Travis the chimpanzee. There was an attack involving this chimpanzee and its owner in 2009. So what I'm going to do now, and this is about a 4-minute long clip, it's a 911 call that she placed to the police. So I'm going to share that at this time.
Stand for 911. Where's your emergency?
Oh, this is Sandy. 231 Rock Crimin Road.
What's the problem?
Send the police. Send the police.
What's the problem there?
The chimp killed my friend.
What's the problem with your friend?
Oh, please.
What's the problem with your friend? I need to know.
Send the police up with a gun. With a gun. Hurry
Who
up.
has a gun?
Please hurry up. He's killing my girlfriend.
What is the problem?
He's killing my friend.
Who's killing your friend?
My chimpanzee.
Oh, your chimpanzee is killing your friend.
He ripped her apart. Hurry up.
With a gun.
Hurry up, please.
There's someone on the way.
With guns, please. Shoot him.
What is the monkey doing? Tell me what the monkey's...
He ripped her face off.
He ripped her face off?
He's trying to attack me. Please,
Okay,
hurry.
I need you to calm down a little bit. They're on the way. Can you put yourself away? I don't want the monkey attacking you.
Please, hurry up. Listen to me.
They're on the way, ma'am.
Guns. They gotta shoot him, please. Please, hurry.
You're there with your friend. I need you to help your friend. Can you go help your friend?
I can't. He tried to attack me now.
Is he still there with your friend?
Yes.
Okay, so then back off. Then don't get any closer, okay? They're already on the way.
Please.
If the monkey moves away from your friend, let me know, okay? So we can try to help your friend.
No, I can't. She's dead. She's dead.
Why are you saying that she's dead?
She's dead. He ripped her apart.
He ripped what apart? Her face?
Everything. Oh,
He ripped her apart?
listen, I think I'm going to faint. I think I'm going to pass out.
No, just breathe, okay? I'm going to stay with you on the phone until they get there.
Listen, please hurry. Please hurry. Oh, my God. They got to have their guns out. They got to have their guns out. Listen to me. Oh, my God.
Is this your monkey or whose monkey
Yes.
is it? It's your monkey.
No, it's mine.
How do you know how big is he? How many pounds?
200 pounds.
400?
200.
200 pounds?
Listen to me, please. Where are they?
And he's a chimp, correct?
Yes. Where are they?
They're going your way. They're going as fast as they can your way, okay?
Please go faster. Please, Dirk. Please.
Is the monkey still by your friend, or can you get close to your friend?
He's eating her. Please. God, oh, please.
Okay, I need you to calm down for me. I know it's hard, okay? I know it's hard. But they're going as fast as they can your way, okay?
Oh, my God. Please hurry. Please. Tell them they got to shoot him because I tried stabbing him and he's not, and it made him worse.
Okay, Sandra.
Have them shoot him.
They will. Sandra, I already have the fire department close by, okay? So as soon as the police gets there, the fire department's going to move in, okay? The fire department can't move in yet, but as soon as the police officers show up...
Please tell them. Shoot him because he's going to try to attack me now.
Just breathe, Sandra.
Shoot him!
Sandra, stay in your car.
Shoot him!
Sandra, I need you to stay in your car.
Shoot him, please. I tried stabbing him, and he's hurt now, too. So he's going to attack anybody. I can't get out of this car.
Lock your doors on your car and stay there with me.
It don't matter. He will rip the doors right
Sandra,
open.
just do what I'm telling you to. Stay in the car. The police officers will handle it.
Please tell him to shoot him. Please tell him. Please tell him to kill him, please.
They did, Sandra. They're shooting at him already, okay?
But he's not dead.
I know. They will continue until he's dead, okay? I just need you to stay on the phone with me and breathe.
He's not dead. He's not dead. He's not dead. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Hard to listen to, honestly. Let's get into some details, though, surrounding this events. We just shared the 911 call that the owner had placed. 2009 attack. On February 16th, 2009, at around 3:40 p.m., Travis attacked Sandra Harold's then 55-year-old friend, Charla Nash, inflicting devastating injuries to her face and limbs. Travis had left the house with Sandra Harold's car keys, and Nash came to help get the chimp back into the house. Upon seeing Nash holding a Tickle Me Elmo, one of his favorite toys, Travis flew into a rage and attacked her. Travis was familiar with Nash, who had also worked at the Harold's Towing Company. Although Nash had a different hairstyle and was driving a different car at the time of the attack, which maybe caused some confusion and alarmed him, he was also being given Xanax medications for Lyme disease. Harold attempted to stop Travis by hitting him over the head with a shovel. Then she, as she alluded to, just stabbed him at the back. Harold later said, "For me to do something like that, putting a knife in him, was like putting one into myself." The chimp turned around, she said, as if to say, "Mom, what did you do?" The animal grew angrier. Harold, at this point, believing Nash was dead, then rushed to her car, locked herself inside, and called 911. Travis's screams can be heard in the background at the time of the tape, as Harold pleads for the police, who initially believed the call was a hoax, until she said, "He's eating her." Emergency medical services waited for police before approaching the house. When they arrived, Travis headed towards the police car. He tried to open a locked passenger door and smashed the mirror off of the side view mirror off the car. He then went around to the driver's side door and opened it. At this point in time, the officer shot him 4 times with his service pistol. Travis retreated to the house, where he was found dead next to his cage. Let's go into some details on the aftermath of this here. The emergency crew described Nash's injuries as horrendous. With the following 72 hours, Nash underwent more than 7 hours worth of surgery on her face and hands by 4 teams of surgeons. The hospital provided counseling to his staff members who initially treated her because of the extraordinary nature of the wounds injury. Paramedics noted that she had lost 9 fingers, nose, eyes, lips, and mid-face bone structure and received significant brain tissue injuries. Doctors removed chimpanzee hair and teeth that had been implanted into her bones and had to reattach her jaw. They announced later on that Nash would be blind for life. For treatment at Stamford Hospital, Nash was transferred to the Cleveland Clinic. Her family started a trust fund to raise money for her. Unfathomable medical bills associated with this, as you could probably imagine, just through the roof. Nash revealed her damaged face to the public for the first time on the Oprah Winfrey Show on November 11th, 2009, if you want to go back and reference that. In accordance with standard procedure, Travis's corpse was taken to the state laboratory for rabies test, and the rest of his remains to the University of Connecticut for further testing. He tested negative for rabies, but there was Xanax in his system, like we spoke to earlier. The other results confirmed that he was overweight, and of course he had a stab wound. The remains were cremated at All Pets Cemetery in Stamford on February 25th. Toxicology reports verified Sandra's statement that she had given Travis Xanax-laced tea the day of the attack, which could have made his aggression worse. Shortly after the attack, a woman who lived in the same area as the Heralds came forward with information that in 1996, the chimpanzee had bit her hand and tried to pull her into the vehicle as she greeted him. She claimed to have complained to the Heralds and to the police, who stated they had no record of any such complaint of this. Nevertheless, on May 24, 2010, 15 months after the attack, Sandra Harold died suddenly of an aneurysm at the age of 72. Her attorney, Robert Golger, released a statement saying Mrs. Harold had suffered a series of heartbreaking losses over the last years, beginning with the death of their first and only child, who was killed in a car accident, then her husband, then the beloved chimp Travis, as well as tragic, devastating injuries that happened to her friend and former employee, Charlotte Nash. In the end, her heart, which had been broken so many times, could not take any more. 4 days later, on May 28, 2011, Nash underwent transplant surgery performed by a team led by Bodan Perhamik, if I'm saying that right, at the Women's Hospital there, receiving a donated face and hands. The transplant of the hands was initially successful, but because Nash developed pneumonia shortly thereafter, doctors were forced to remove her newly transplanted hands 5 days after the transplant due to the infection. It was a poor circulation. There's a lot of details I could go on here, but I won't spare the details. There was a extensive court battle proceedings following this, of course, and in this article I read actually goes on to mention that the police officers and the people, the paramedics that arrived at the scene, actually had to have professional counseling and various things like that, just because of how traumatic the events that unfolded with this chimpanzee Travis were that day. So I know you'd probably heard of it, but had you actually heard that whole 911 call?
I hadn't heard the whole call. I remember when the woman was on Oprah Winfrey's show, and I had heard, the story.
You would instantly think this is a hoax in the beginning, right? If you're the operator.
Yeah, I mean, it's really weird to hear that a chimpanzee is attacking someone, because that's such a weird thing to happen. Because people shouldn't be owning these things.
Yeah, somebody brings up a good point. They said you can't assume that, something's a hoax. You got to treat it like it's not.
You got to, but like at the first blush, if you're told something that sounds insane, you're going to not necessarily treat it with 100% accuracy.
This was an elite level of trained chimp. This chimp was like a mini person, man. I was watching TV. He even said in one article that he could drive a car during, around the neighborhood. I mean, hell, but he could still drive a car around the neighborhood. He could get on the computer. He had pretty high intelligence. But what's always underestimated, I think, by some people, and I don't know if that was the case with them, because I'm sure they knew, they're also like 2.5 times stronger than a human.
Yeah, they're absurdly strong.
Yeah, they have muscle fiber reaction. I mean, everything's through the roof with these things. So, and I think here's the scary part about them. They're smart. And when they attack you, they attack a person, they attack anything, they know what to go for to inflict the most damage to you.
Yeah, they know how to disable you.
Bite your fingers off, because we use our hands for so much. Then, of course, your face, right? Can't see if your eyes are hurt, or you can't breathe if your nose. It's not like they're just, I'm sure they're inflicting damage all over your body, but not just like a dog biting your arm, man. I mean, these things literally purposely doing what it's doing.
They know how to disable their victim, because they have to do it in, when they're fighting each other. They go after the same areas, because, humans are primates too.
They owned this guy for a while, didn't they? He was born in 1995, and this happened in 2009. So, yeah, they had him for a long time, man. So
12 or 13 years they had him, at least, probably.
Yeah,
maybe longer.
He was a well-known member of the community, this chimpanzee. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know much about chimpanzees. So when they said they were giving him Xanax for Lyme disease, I was like, what the heck? Is that a common thing?
So that Xanax gets prescribed off-label for different things. Like, apparently has a lot of uses beyond like antidepressant. Take that for what you will. Like, maybe no one should be on it, period, but it's used for a lot of different things. And so, like, they prescribe it for different things. And I guess maybe, I don't know. I never had Lyme disease, so.
I could definitely see it has medical side effects with people, right? Let alone a monkey. A chimp. Don't want to understate his, what he is. You think this played a big part of it? I mean, obviously you weren't there, you won't know.
Well, it definitely affects human brain chemistry a lot. Now, chimpanzees are very close relatives, so I can only imagine that it would mess with their brain.
It seemed to be what put him over the edge was seeing that guest of the house with his Tickle Me Elmo doll.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to unpack there. That audio, just horrifying. Can't imagine, like, you watch all these like gory movies or whatever, and it's all fake, right? So it doesn't affect you. But to see something that is probably worse than you've ever seen in the goriest horror movie you can imagine actually happening in front of you, I can't believe she didn't pass out.
And like we talked about, that long-term effect on the first responders and police officers involved in this, just because of how bad it was. And of course, when you start to look into some of these things, I tried to do its due diligence, and put some effort into researching this. As you do this more often than not, you start to go down a rabbit hole with things that you're seeing, right? And I saw this other story, just briefly give it a summary here, that this guy had a pretty big chimpanzee just like this. He had it for a while. He took it to a local animal rescue sanctuary or whatever, because he couldn't handle taking care of it anymore. It was like a 220-pound chimp. It's like a man, right? I mean, but was wearing a diaper, couldn't keep up with the mess the chimpanzee was making. And so he took it to this local sanctuary. and he would come visit this chimpanzee all the time. One time he came to celebrate the chimpanzee's birthday. So he brought a cake to celebrate the chimpanzee's birthday with the chimpanzee. Well, this enraged the other chimpanzees there. I don't remember off the top of my head how many were there, but they weren't securely locked away. So they broke out. I don't remember if they inflicted death upon this guy or if they just injured him so terribly. But all over this birthday cake, they beat this dude. I mean, a group of them tore this dude up, all got out of their enclosures and just tore him up. Same kind of injuries that we just talked about were the same thing there. Bit off all of his fingers, tore off his nose. I feel like some people don't really know about these chimpanzee things, until you hear a story like this. It's freaking terrifying, dude.
Every time I hear someone, that you see on the news or different people get a chimpanzee, you see it every once in a while, and I'm just like, are you insane? This thing is a death machine. Like, wild animals will always be wild. I don't care how much you train them, because like that one you said was extremely well trained. And then at a drop of a hat, it's all over. And there's no stopping it in hand to hand, right? Like that one said, you need to shoot it.
How hard do you think that was for her? She had been taking care of this thing, and after the rest of her immediate family had passed away, this is all she had, this chimpanzee.
Well, like she even said, she knew that once she stabbed it, that it was going to kill her. Like, even if it stopped, eventually it was going to kill her. Like, she had wounded it, and it would remember that, and it's just, you can't stop it. They're unstoppable machines of destruction when they're in a frenzy.
Yeah, and you can actually hear him in the background. Did you hear him in the beginning of that
Yeah, the
clip?
beginning of that time. It's a nightmare.
Lucky he didn't just bust through that window. He could have easily if he wanted to.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many, nightmares I've had of things like that because of stories that I have heard of these things. And people still buy them. And I'm just like, you know what? You would be better suited buying a tiger because it's less dangerous. You can put it into a pen and it's not going to learn from you. It's going to be...
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, definitely kill you, but yeah, it just...
These things are near humans that are
closest thing to it. I could see, though, this dude was just everywhere, man. All the kids probably played with this chimpanzee. They just talked about how the neighbor played with him, wrestled with him. Man, he just was a beloved thing. And at the end of the day, somebody said it here in the chat. He's an animal.
If you had a really cuddly, Furby looking thing, right? You had a Furby that you could play with, and it was nice all the time. But there was a 1% chance that one day it was going to explode and kill you. Wouldn't you just not have that Furby in your house?
There was a chance, yeah. But there's a chance for everything, though, right? I mean, on the flip side of that, there's a chance anything could happen with everything. I got a stove. There's a chance a gas light can come out.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of stuff, dude. But I see what you're saying. Would you even take the risk? They paid $50,000 for this thing, though.
That also always boggles my mind. It's like, how do people have this much extra money?
In the 90s, they bought this thing for $50,000.
That would be $100,000 today.
Let's talk about the medical bills that had to be because of this. That had to be unlike anything you could ever imagined.
Yeah, I actually remember some comedian did a joke about medical bills, and he said medical bills aren't real bills because no one can afford them. So you always declare bankruptcy afterwards.
It makes me mad when you go to the doctor. They're like, you can go to this specialist, you could do that. You have insurance. It's like, dude, I still got to pay for it, man.
Yeah.
That deductible don't kick in until you pay a certain amount. I can't just go to any doctor that I want.
God forbid you don't have insurance. And then it's like, oh, you went to the emergency room? Well, that'd be $3,000.
It sounded like this was a new procedure with this hand transplant. I actually never even heard of such a thing until I read about this.
I've seen a couple people get hand transplants, but it's very touch and go. And
it didn't work because of pneumonia. Apparently you have little room for error.
I mean, any transplant always has a high risk, but actual whole limb transplants, like hands, yes, super high risk and super low success rate. Especially then, 2009, it was fairly new. And even now, though, you barely ever hear it working.
Yeah, if you want to know more information about this, just look up Travis the chimpanzee. We've got a crap ton of people watching this live right now, which is super awesome. If you're just joining us, we just shared a story about a chimpanzee named Travis. It's a pretty well-documented case. A lot of you are saying you hadn't heard of it before, and people are saying thanks for sharing that story. Yeah, a lot of people are taking it in and talking about how emotional that 911 call that we shared was. Of course, you can always go back and watch this stream later, and within the next couple of weeks, this episode will release on YouTube and everywhere else. But it's crazy.
That was rough to get through. That 911 call was the roughest thing.
It was pretty freaking terrifying. I'm even more afraid of chimps now and monkeys for that.
I hate the fact that I gotta follow that.
Jeff Townsend Media. CG, good night.
And the question is, do I stay here? Will you be back? Are you gonna come back? Will you be back? Are you coming back?